Hi everybody, welcome to the full-time show where you get your chance to ring us up and give us your reaction and your thoughts and opinions on the game we've just witnessed, which is Arsenal edging closer to the knockout stage with a 2-0 comfortable victory over our opponents tonight. What I would call a hapless Sevilla. Sorry, I always do that.
Everyone does it. Everyone does it.
I'm sorry about that, bro.
No, it's calm. Calm. I'm used to it.
Yeah, Turkish, my brethren. You saw the game. We were both on the couch. What's your thoughts, very briefly, before we bring our callers in?
Light work.
Yeah.
I would have liked more goals, but at the same time, we didn't need to step out of gear 2, and we got the job done. Didn't look like conceding, only one little moment. Where, to be honest, I think it would have been given as a foul on Saliba with the nudge on the back if it had, materialised into anything for Sevilla. But yeah, light work. When I looked at the amount of rotation Sevilla came into the game with, I thought to myself, the manager must have had enough of the poor results and said, you know what, go on, you lot have a go now, because it's not like they're in a position to throw this away. Sevilla love European competition, more so the Europa League, so they're still in with a fight for at least third. So I would have thought they would have been stronger, but they came in quite light and we dealt with them as we should.
Summarily dismissed them. Yeah, like you, I was a bit surprised at how passive Sevilla were. I've got to say I was disappointed in them, man, because as you pointed out, Turkish, they do have pedigree in Europe.
Yeah.
Especially in the Europa League, of course. When this group was announced, when they had the draw months back, a lot of people said it would be in a fight out between us and Sevilla as to who would top the group. But it looks like they're going to be bottom of the group and stay there. And based on what we saw tonight, I think that's pretty much all they deserved. They were poor. I mean, I should say that they did have some injuries, as you pointed out at the top of the show there that we did. And they did rotate. Quite why they chose to rotate so heavily, I'm not so sure. But I would say this, based on what I saw tonight from that 11 that took the field, I would say, with the possible exception of Bournemouth, that was probably our easiest game. What would you say?
Yeah.
I can't think of one easier.
We didn't get made to work hard
for that,
at all,
really.
yeah.
No, we didn't have to work for that. Which, listen, hey, that's fine.
It's just strange for a fourth group game in the Champions. Usually the fourth game is the one that kind of not decides things, but puts you into position in game 5 to decide your fate, whether it's first, second, or Europa League.
That's right. And you would have thought that they would have come. I mean, they still had something to play for before tonight. You would have thought they would have come and showed a bit more ambition.
100%. Now they're 3 points behind PSV in third now. So even the Europa League dream might, be overcome. But then there's Sevilla PSV next, so it's still in their hands.
Strangely passive. But listen, I don't want to take too much away from Arsenal. They won and they won well. Got to say the two wingers were outstanding on the night. Martinelli and Saka. Saka got the goal, but I thought Martinelli was probably man of the match.
Yeah.
He had his defenders on toast all game.
I haven't seen
all game, bro.
I haven't seen outclassing like that for a long time.
Yeah, he was enjoying himself out there. So much so that I think there were times when he could actually have put a cross in and he thought, nah, let me just beat this man again and show him.
And sometimes you get like an early moment where like your winger will dump on the fullback and then you want him to get it over and over again, but he never gets it. This time around, Arsenal saw what he was doing and gave it to him at every opportunity.
Every time.
Final ball needs to be worked on a little bit because he got himself into maybe at least 5 great spots in the first half and over the game. But it was the final ball that let him down. But sometimes there wasn't no one in the right positions in the box either. So I'm with you, man of the match, Martinelli.
Yeah,
probably.
Definitely. But it was a good performance. I mean, if we start at the back, Raya didn't have too much to do. So, yeah, his performance was clean, kept a clean sheet, which I'm sure he'll be happy with. The back four, once again, Gabriel and Saliba looked impregnable, although there was a couple of little minor errors, but even when they made an error, they recovered it. So they looked solid. Into midfield, I thought Jorginho had a really good game. Declan Rice was his usual immaculate self.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I think pretty much everyone did good. I've got to say, and I don't want to dig him out, but I didn't think Havertz, how can I put it without sounding, I mean, I don't want to disrespect the guy or be overly critical, but you saw that chance he had in the first couple of minutes there when he skewed the header wide, when really should have at least got that on target, if not scored. He did try, so listen, I'm not going to, castigate the man too much, but it wasn't his best night. And then moving forward, Trossard came in for Eddie, and I thought Trossard did well, got the goal. Didn't really do too much after that, but listen, he made his point. And it'll be interesting to see if Eddie is fit, who he will go with up front on Saturday. against Burnley, which I would say right now that Burnley will put up more of a opposition
Should
than
do, even
Sevilla
though they've been quite poor this season as well. If I'm honest, they haven't adjusted to the Premier League climate yet. But yeah, I mean,
but I think there will be, in terms of effort and commitment, I think they'll bring more. I mean, at times tonight, Sevilla, man, just passing it around aimlessly. They were passive.
No intent.
Yeah, passive. But anyway, you've heard what me and Turkish have had to say. Please download the app, and then that will give you access to the show. And let us know what you think. We've got about an hour, so let's cook, man.
Before the first call, I've got a super chat from Ricky, and it says, good professional performance today. Was there more fluidity with Trossard as the 9, or was it because Saka and Martinelli won't double down upon like in the Premier League? What do you put it down to? Because that was the best game they've had in combination. I mean, we've had some games where Saka's the star. We've had some games where Martinelli's the star, but for the first time in a long time, they both kind of produced today.
Yeah. I think that they were just enjoying their time out there, especially Martinelli. I mean, we were making a point on the watch along that we did that he just seemed to enjoy terrorising the defenders, which is what good wingers do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so maybe that might have stopped Trossard from getting as much service as he might normally have wanted. But listen, they were dominant, so in a way you can understand why they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were doing what they were doing. Trossard, like I said, he got the goal. Apart from the goal, did he really do a whole lot more? Did he need to? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think?
did he need to? I wouldn't say he needed to. Would I have liked him to? Of course I would have liked him to. But even with that or without that, Trossard is the best option we have behind Jesus. And even if Eddie does return from injury tomorrow or Thursday, then
I know you'd prefer Trossard up front.
I mean, Thursday or Friday, sorry. I mean, the turnaround's too quick for me to even for Arteta to consider Eddie. I think Trossard, he started, he got a goal. You play him, it's Burnley.
Yeah. I wouldn't have no problem with that, to be honest. Eddie's injured. His replacement comes in, gets a goal. To me, that's enough for him to start the next game, unless something dramatic happens. But let's hear from the callers what they got to say. I believe we got a couple on the line. Junior.
Yes, Junior, what are you saying?
Yes, bro. I take it you saw the game.
Yeah, I did.
What's your thoughts on
it? Well, I think it's just nice to finally get a win after the last two games.
Yeah,
the performance hasn't been that good, so I think it's
100.
good to get a win today. And the performance wasn't. I think it was good, but I think the first half was definitely better than the second half. I think the second half was a bit. We started off a bit not as good, but I think it's nice to get the second goal. But we could have got more. I think we should have got at least a third, but it's a clean sheet as well, so can't complain with a 2-0 win.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, to me, I thought that Sevilla were disappointing. I've got to be honest. Don't get me wrong, I'm always glad for the win. I actually predicted 2-0 before the game. But I've got to be honest, man, I was surprised and disappointed in Sevilla, because surprised at the team. If you looked at that team, you was like, rah. You know what I mean? They made a number of changes, had a number of injuries. And as soon as I saw their team, I thought, nah, man, we should be all right. And then their performance can best be described as passive. As Turkish was saying, they didn't really offer much to it. They didn't even really look like they were that overly committed to the win, to be honest. It almost seemed like they came in for a draw. Turkish, what do you think?
I'm with you guys. I mean, I agree. It wasn't a great performance. It was good enough to get the win, and it was good enough to, pretty much secure our Champions League spot moving into next year in the knockout rounds. But was I looking for a chance in tonight? After 2 losses, I think the first thing you look for is a win.
Yeah,
and you'll take it any which way, especially in the 4th game of the group stage in the Champions League. So, yeah, I mean, Sevilla, I'm not a Sevilla fan. I haven't got any close friends that are Sevilla fans, but it's interesting the way they approach the game. It's like they just threw it away.
Yeah, like I said, passive is the kindest word I can use, because they really were that bad. I think it was something like the 80th minute until they had a shot on goal, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for a Champions League game, man, I mean, that is not good. And listen, I say that because I thought that Sevilla would put up a sterner test. I mean, you're talking about a team with good pedigree in Europe. They've won trophies in Europe. more trophies recently in Europe than we have. So you're expecting to come and really, you know what I mean, put up, and they didn't. But anyway, that's their problem. We got the win. Moving forward to Saturday's game against Burnley, how do you see the team shaping out? Based on what you saw tonight, would you keep Trossard up front? Is there any other areas of the pitch? Would you start Havertz? Would you keep Raya in goal?
I wouldn't start Havertz. I think they said on commentary, he's been like 17 games now he's played for Arsenal and it's 1 goal. One goal, 1 assist.
He had a golden opportunity at the start. I know it was early in the game. He probably wasn't fully warmed up or whatever. It's his first real touch. But even so, a guy of his so-called class and ability, £65 million, you expect him to at least hit the target from there. And he didn't. And then he had a good shot in the second half. And he did try, but I think the problem with Havertz is he's struggling to impose himself on games. And I think tonight was also the case. But
yeah, Junior, because if you look at their midfield, they was essentially allowing our midfield to the space. And I would have thought that this is the game. Like, we essentially have a team that have lied down for us, a team that are leaving space in the midfield, in the middle of the park. And we still didn't get, a Havertz moment. I mean, Jorginho even, who many, including myself, deemed too slow or too, immobile in his later years, which is natural, it's a part of everyone's life. But he managed to pull out a through ball to Saka that kind of, puts that polish on his display. Havertz, we're talking about a shot that was just wide. Yeah, I mean, he was unlucky with that. Technique, brilliant. Cuts in, brilliant. Nice. It just didn't hit the back of the net. Aside from that, you have the header in the first minute. Should have scored. At least
hit the target.
Get on target.
At least hit the target.
And he had that other moment in the second half where it was, a half volley that got deflected over the bar. Aside from that, I would have thought that this is the game now. Yeah. Without Odegaard, I think we need someone, whether it's Havertz or Vieira or someone in that 8/10, to take a game by the scruff of the neck. Show Arteta that you don't need to rely on Odegaard week in, week out. You can, put me in this position and we can still create chances or we can still dictate play. But Vieira hasn't done it or hadn't done it last season. And so far, Havertz hasn't done it. And I think this was the game for it to be. I mean, Vieira, come on, Junior. And he had that moment where he played in Havertz over the top. So in the brief minutes Vieira got, we had that one moment where it's like, that was quite nice. Yeah. With Havertz, I mean, I expected to see that in abundance throughout.
And my worry is if you're not going to show it in games like tonight, when really you got the opposition just like at your mercy, then you're kind of wondering when is it going to happen. But anyway, we'll see what happens come Saturday. I hope he does at least get some minutes, if not start, because I'm waiting for this guy to catch fire. But listen, Junior, we've got a lot of calls waiting. But listen, thank you very much, bro. Appreciate your call.
Thank you for having me on.
No problem at all. Pleasure. Hopefully you can call back soon. Next caller?
Yes.
Sorry, how you been?
Yeah, I'm all right,
man. Good, man. You?
Yeah, very well.
Good.
I didn't get to talk to you guys after the Newcastle game, but I have some thoughts, I guess, that relate to today and extend kind of back to that as well. I wanted to pick up on a couple of the points Laurie made. So first things first, the wingers enjoying themselves. So for me, watching the game today, now Sevilla were poor, but I felt like for the first time, it was almost like watching the Arsenal of last year. And we do look at our best when the ball goes out to Saka and Martinelli in space and they're driving at their man. Like it looked like Martinelli was loving his football today. And I think that those types of patterns are really important for us to kind of release those two back to what we were saying last year. I do want to talk about the Havertz one today because the last time we spoke together, we were saying, the jury's been sent home and I believe that to be true of Havertz in the 8. But I actually think, and that's why I wanted to come on after the Newcastle game, that, and this maybe is a stretch, but I feel like with Havertz, his languid style and kind of almost lackadaisical reminds me of Ozil a bit. It doesn't work in his favour sometimes when we're trying to look at him and pull something out that he's offering the team, let's say. And I do feel against Newcastle and today in little spurts when he had the shot that just went wide and in Newcastle driving through and sliding through Eddie, I do feel like I've seen something in the 10 to see that he could be a part of the squad. My bigger concern is that in the 8, he's not the solution. So I think what we're missing from the 8 position in the way that Xhaka did it is someone that can slide in next to the 6 when need be in games where we're under pressure, someone who can, be more proactive with their movement and getting into positions out wide and be more robust. But I don't know. I just wanted to comment on those 2 things to start, I guess.
No, that's a good point. Turkish, you got any thoughts on that? I have. I'll let you go first, though.
So what should I start on? The Havertz number 10 thing?
The 8 and the 6 and stuff like that. What do you think?
I mean, I think I haven't seen what you've seen from Kai in the 10 to say he'd even be good enough for our squad. I still need to see it. I do worry about it because he hasn't been brought in as a squad member. He's been brought in as an integral piece of the starting 11 essentially. So that's what I worry about more than anything, because if he turns from a signing for the first 11 to someone in the squad, then essentially how much did we improve our starting 11 this season? It's the bare minimum. I mean, you can say Rice improvement, but with Xhaka and pretty much Partey missing the majority of the season already, our midfield has been weaker this season. So I am still worried about Kai. I haven't seen yet what he can bring for us. I mean, I'd agree that he probably is better up top than he is in the 8, or maybe in the 10 he's a bit better than he is in the 8, but all in all, 8, 10 or 9, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to have to agree with Turkish on that one. He did play a little while through the middle as well tonight, later on in the game. I think this is how I would sum up Kai Havertz, right? There is talent and ability there, but so far we've not seen enough of it of Arsenal. He's flitted in and out of games. He's had some good moments. I mean, even tonight, there was the second half, we cut inside and took it on his left foot, and that was a very good effort. There was also the shot that got blocked. But there's not enough of those moments, bro. And
he made a good point about the lackadaisy
approach. The language style. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean,
but when you have that, you need to have a certain culture when you have the ball.
That's right.
Like you mentioned Ozil, and Ozil had that. Listen, I've talked all day about Ozil off the ball and how modern day football doesn't suit, and it jarred me because he wasn't producing on and off the ball for us, and that's why I was
consistently
100%. With Havertz, it's that when you get the ball, I need to see magic. If you're gonna have that, carefree kind of, which is fine. It's fine. Great players have had that language, that body style, whatever it is. They've had that and been criticised, and they've turned up. Turn up on the ball, my thing. That's not turn up for an aerial.
I think you could say the same with Aubameyang.
I need to see magic.
Aubameyang was another one. He got that kind of language style.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's magic on the ball, but he'd finish. He'd get the goals.
He'd give you them moments.
There's been no magic there. I'm not saying there has been. There's been no magic for Havertz. I echo that completely. I'm just trying to provide something in conversation, because I think that I know we talk negatively about him, but he's not going to be gone in 6 months. Like, he's going to be a part of Mikel Arteta's squad. So, I'm trying to think about where that could potentially be. I think importantly for us now, there's been unideal elements to this season for sure. But we look at the next 5. I think it's Burnley, Brentford, Wolves and Luton in the league, and there's Lens sandwiched in the middle of that. Now, if we want this season to be a serious one, where we're in the conversation for the biggest honours, the Champions League and the Premier League, we need 5 wins from 5 games. This team needs to go on a run now where we see this excitement build, the form of Martinelli and Saka stay consistently there. Because I would say, for me personally watching, which is great, but the only 2 players I can put my finger on and say elite this season are Rice and Saliba.
100%.
And those 2 have the potential to drive us to somewhere. They're for me, the 2 most exciting players in terms of what they can be on a world stage that Arsenal's had in a long time.
I would agree.
Yeah, we need to see in these next 5 games. We just need to get the job done. 5 wins. It just needs to start to be more comprehensive from Arsenal.
Just going back to, you are right, by the way, I do agree pretty much everything you said there. Just going back to the Havertz thing, I think what disappointed me tonight was the fact that you had an opponent, this is Arsenal and Havertz, you had an opponent that was there for the taking, pretty much, yeah? And so you're at home, Champions League night. I want Havertz to embrace that and say, give me the ball, man, you know what I mean? And I'm going to show you what I can do. And we didn't really see enough of that tonight. So if you contrast that, for example, with Saka, who's also been struggling for form, I would say, a little bit. But tonight, you saw he He scored the goal and he looked good. He wasn't as good as Martinelli. Martinelli was exceptional tonight. But Saka showed up tonight and demanded the ball. He got his goal. He implanted himself on the game. That's what I wanted to see from Havertz. Now, maybe had he done better with that header at the start of the game, we might have seen that. But we didn't see enough of him. And that's my issue with Havertz. He's not imposing himself
but
on the game
we also
enough.
keep like convincing ourselves that he needs a goal to turn this around, but I haven't seen that either.
Well, he did get a penalty a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And Twitter went wild with the confidence thing after that penalty thing. I thought after that we're going to get hat tricks week in, week out instead of the way that everyone talked about his confidence. But
Would you start him at the weekend?
If Odegaard's not fit, I would name, I think, almost an unchanged lineup for the weekend, personally. Right. I hope that Tommy's, maybe Zinchenko comes back in. I hope that Tommy Asu didn't pick up an injury today. I know that the game maybe didn't require a more defensive option there, and I'm hoping it was for tactical reasons. But I would go unchanged, I think.
And he is right about the next fixtures, because I've just brought them up. Burnley at home, Brentford away, Lons at home, Wolves at home, Luton away.
They're all very winnable games.
If we win all five, we're top 2 in the league and top of our Champions League group. Going into the hectic, going into Aston Villa, Brighton, Liverpool. Going into, if we can win our next 5, which is...
They are winnable games.
100%. We'll be top 2. I'm tempted to say first if we win our next 5 in the league. And we'll be top of our Champions League group. That will be perfect reading.
It would be perfect. However, I would caution, that the Premier League being the beast that it is, you're always going to get at least one of those games is going to be a battle. But listen, bro, thank you very much for your call. We made some very good points. And hopefully speak to you after the Burnley game, which hopefully we'll get a good result in that one too. Nice one, bro.
Nice one, bro.
Take care, man. All right. Right, who else we got?
What you saying, my bro?
Hey.
What's going on, guys? How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
How you guys doing? Good?
Good, man. So you saw the game. We're saying it was probably as comfortable it's going to get in the Champions League, to be honest with you. Okay, it was only 2-0, but one of the guys on the panel described it as a 2-0 thrashing. But what did you think?
Well, I thought that we controlled the game the first half definitely better than we have in a lot of the Premier League game matches that we've watched the last few weeks. And I think that we controlled the game, and then in the 23rd to 25th minute when we first scored that goal, I think you could see in like minutes like just before that, we really turned it up a notch. And you could almost see, I think a previous caller had mentioned shades of our form from last year, just for moments, and then once we had scored that goal, it was almost like we kind of just went back to controlling the game. And I think that kind of brings me to my next point, which I know Turkish on Forever Arsenal last week, James and Jordan were talking about, how they were thinking that this was all kind of intentional, the way that we've been playing in terms of, maybe not as out of the gates from the get-go at the start of games, and kind of controlling the game, trying to play more, a little bit more conservatively in the beginning. And then maybe as the year or season progresses, we become more aggressive. And I think that kind of goes towards and is with what Arteta was saying at the beginning of the year when he was talking about unpredictability. He talked about at the beginning of the season being more unpredictable. I almost feel like this might all be intentional in terms of how they're playing and turning it up at certain points during the game. And not necessarily showing all their cards at the beginning of the season or even at the beginning of the tournament of the Champions League.
Yeah,
it's an interesting take.
He makes a good point. I mean, he makes a good point. Listen, we won't know until the season plays out how this is, shapes up, or how we can really analyze our start to the season, whether it is a bit of a handbrake off because we want to go full rev the second half of the season. Is it, lessons learned off mistakes made last season? We'll find this out as the season goes. I have been critical about fluidity and chemistry and whatnot. But at the same time, I mentioned being a dinosaur in recent fan zones, but I'm not used to. Back in the day watching football, maybe it's because I was young and I was just, riding the wave. It wasn't, I wasn't at the start of the season thinking we've got to take it easy now because at the end of the season, we've got that battle with Man United and, we've got to got to lead up to that second half of the season, because then I wasn't thinking about that, and nor were Arsenal, nor were the players, Henry, Vieira, Adams, and so on. They were just thinking about winning every single game. They didn't win every single game, but it was there. So I come from that era. But this modern day football, it's all fine tuning, the attention to
very
detail,
structured.
due diligence. It might be the case, and I might turn around here in March, April, May, and say, "Fucking hell, Arteta's done it again." Like, I didn't see this coming.
I come from that era too, where it's like you just go out there and you hustle all 90 minutes, and you just want them to be hungry. And that's like one of the things I see in a player like Havertz. Like, I don't see that kind of hunger that you want. Tonight, I felt like he showed it a little bit more off the ball as opposed to on the ball. Like, he wasn't, obviously his final decision making was horrible, but he was getting himself in positions, off the ball when we had possession, and then even when we didn't have possession, you could see him putting himself about a little bit and trying to get himself into a position where it makes it harder for them to set up passing lanes. But yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of what happened tonight too is also reflective of what we saw the latter part of last season, when teams really kind of did that low block and kind of just sat in and didn't really try attacking us. It wasn't the open kind of game that we were used to at the beginning of last season, when we were taking it to teams a lot more in the beginning. It was more like after that Everton game away where we had lost and teams kind of found the formula to kind of play that low block. I almost feel like that was their tactic tonight, was trying to play that low block, and just keep us out best we could, because they were playing us at home, so.
Yeah, they didn't show much ambition. Myself and Turkish described them as quite passive. But you know what? We got the win, fully deserved. And as Turkish said, we didn't really get out of second gear. So I think that bodes well for the weekend. But listen, bro, thank you very much for your call.
What's your
worries,
name?
guys. Class. It's Classic. You can call me Classic.
Class.
I've been listening to you guys for about 6 years now, just a heads up. So appreciate you.
Class.
Last 2 years I've been listening to you every day. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate Forever Arsenal. Give a shout out to everyone. I've been on here a couple times, but just give everyone a shout out for me, would you?
We'll do, man.
My bro, man. I appreciate it.
All right, boys.
Man.
I'll check you soon.
Thank you very much.
All right, you too.
Yeah, good points made there. I think he's suggesting that, we've sacrificed a little bit up top, but we're a bit more resilient. And I think what he was saying is, in terms of how the season pans out long term, that will probably equip us for a good late run.
I mean, it's essentially what City do, where first half of the season, gear 2, gear 3, second half of the season, 4, 5, 6.
Listen, if it pans out that way and we win the title, we've great news. Right, who else we got? I'm pretty sure we got some other callers waiting to get in there. I recognise that face, man.
Mans.
That's Mans, yeah. I'm usually last, Laurie, so...
Last but certainly not least, and you're definitely earlier on today. But listen, Mans, now I'm going to put my cards on the table. I was disappointed in Sevilla, not because obviously we got the 2-0 win and I'm pleased for that, but I thought, certainly before I saw the team lineup, I was expecting this to be a close competitive game, but it was anything but. I thought Sevilla were poor. In fact, I said in my fan cam that if that 11 of Sevilla turned up week in, week out in the Premier League, they'd be in the bottom 3 for me. But what's your thoughts?
Not me. I didn't expect them to be competitive. They came to lose. They kept Ramos on Spain, Ocampos on the bench. So there are games in the domestic league in Spain which they make look more complex than they actually are, like games against Las Palmas or whatever, teams that just got promoted. I don't expect that much from this Sevilla team. They drew Lens at home in the first game, so I'm not sure. My prediction was in the very beginning when I saw the groups is us and PSG were going to come out from the group. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but it's still possible. But with regards to us, comfy game, very easy, under control. I want to echo what the previous caller said. I think that's spot on, to be honest with you.
It was a good take.
I said something along the lines of, like, in the last few times I was here, I said, forget last season. We're not going to see this fluidity much this season. We'll see it in the up game, like we saw against PSV. But you're going to be seeing it in moments. But we're more about control now. We're a team about control now. We're a team that controls the midfield. We're a team that controls possession in our half of the pitch, on the opposition's half of the pitch. We're not a team that creates 10, 15, 20 chances anymore. We're a team of moments, and that seems to be. And in my opinion, all right, I don't like it much. I prefer because I love the football we played last season. But if that wins us the league, I really couldn't care less.
Yeah, I think.
And you know, maybe I have a problem with the selection of the team.
Talking of selection, I was just going to ask you, Trossard through the middle. Was you happy with him tonight? Do you think he, regardless of whether Eddie's fit on Saturday, do you think he should stay there? Or?
I hope he is, because I've been asking for Trossard to play in the front line.
Yeah, you have
in that Jesus role for ages. So I hope he's happy. But you know, if he really wants to put Nketiah, why not put him against teams like Sheffield and Burnley? but teams like Newcastle away, I wouldn't put. Yeah, Turkish is laughing. He probably feels the same way.
Yeah, he's looking at me pointedly there. But is there an argument? I mean, I don't want to be churlish, yeah, but I'm just putting this out there, a bit of devil's advocate. But why not? Trossard got the goal early on, 20 odd minutes, but did he really do enough for you after that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I thought he played okay. I thought he played okay against West Ham when he came on. I thought every time he comes on, I think he does something useful. He's better technically on the ball. So let's just put it this way: we have a better ball retention, and we have a better false number 9 when he's up front. So he can bring Saka and Martinelli into play. Even I don't think Nketiah can do that. I think Nketiah on the opposite. He relies on Saka and Martinelli. He relies on chances. He's not somebody who brings other players into play, and I think our system is more suited to players like Jesus, players like Trossard. Yeah. So no, I'd play Nketiah against teams like Burnley. I'd play him against teams like Sheffield. But any game where it's serious opposition up front, like Newcastle, Villa, Liverpool, I'd put Trossard. While Jesus is injured, I would play Trossard.
Okay.
I thought Havertz looked okay today again. You know, he's starting to, I wouldn't say show much progression, but he's out there. You know, he gets himself into position. he gets
on the pitch. He's out there.
But do you think he's doing enough though to warrant the big price tag?
No. He's definitely not doing enough.
Yeah.
Definitely not doing. I have a player which, you know, I've said many times should be getting the game, and that's Fabio Vieira. But
James said the same thing.
I don't understand, like, if Fabio Vieira had near 50% of love that Kai Havertz gets, I swear to God, he's shown us glimpses every time he's come on. So I remember his goal against Brentford last season. He's shown he can shoot from far. He's shown he can find players. You know, like today. Beautiful ball to Havertz that by the end.
Yeah. Well.
He's shown he can change games. He came in against Fulham. I'm pretty sure he changed the game. That guy deserves a chance. If you look at it this way, that guy deserves a chance. But I think Havertz is kind of like an important part of our unpredictability system, if you like. He is unpredictable.
I get the impression that Havertz is preferred over Vieira because of his size and strength, which, you know,
which he doesn't use.
Yeah, exactly. And let's be honest. Let's cut to the chase. The manager's invested £65 million in Kai Havertz.
I hate that.
And but I mean, I think it is the case whereby the manager is going to try and almost prove that he was a worthwhile signing. So I expect to see more of Havertz, and unfortunately for you guys, less of Vieira.
I definitely expect to see more of Havertz. Yeah.
Thoughts? I mean, I saw a couple of the comments come in, and Uptown said, like Henri said, if Eddie is going to score, we need to feed a certain way. He's not the same as the way Jesus wants the ball. Yes, but Henri's also said the player he needs to know the players he's with, because, you know, I forgot where he made this statement, but he said he knows that Perez is going to give him the ball in a different manner to Bergkamp and Ljungberg and Vieira and so on. And he had to learn what they do in order to make himself better. So there's a bit of that with Eddie and Havertz too when they start. You know, it's not all about, they need to change their game for you because you're different. You need to bridge the gap as well. There was another comment here as well, but I think I've lost it. It was on Vieira. I can't find it now. Someone said he's lightweight, but I think this is what Man is saying. I mean, Vieira came in, and has he had the chances Havertz has had? No,
yeah,
but
he needs to run a game
if
he's going to reach the heights.
For me, Odegaard locked down that number 10 position, right?
Yeah.
So Vieira's struggled to get in the side is very different to Havertz, who comes into a side that just lost our 8, and he is the chosen 8. So I understand him getting more chance, but then the last 3 games Odegaard's been missing, how many times has Vieira started as the 10? When that's what he was brought in for. Wasn't he brought in for as Odegaard's backup? No, Havertz then starts as essentially the 10. So it's kind of like we're trying to fit him in at the moment. Whereas
Arteta loves him.
I'd like Vieira to be given more of, especially today. I think if Vieira started today, I think we score more goals.
Definitely. That's what I think. Shout out to Martinelli, by the way. I think he ended that fullback's career, by the way. What a baller.
He was enjoying himself today. There were times when literally he'd beat him and then he'd check back and he'd beat him again. Just for.
I was watching the game today, and I was thinking the only difference between this and our performance against Newcastle, which we also controlled, but we had our front three not moving at all. Saka wasn't present. Martinelli wasn't present, and it's like today they woke up. It's like the manager probably had a go. So Martinelli took that personally, clearly. Saka as well,
and also
slightly less visible than Martinelli, but he's got the assist and the goal. So that's Saka for you in a nutshell. But yeah, comfortable win. We're going to qualify. We're going to get first. We're going to win the Champions League, lads.
I hope so.
On that note, we thank you very much, and hopefully speak to you soon, man. Take care. Good call as always. Nice one. We got any more calls lined up? Yes, I recognise that face.
Hey guys.
What are you saying?
You do? I've never been on before.
You'll be.
Can you guys hear me properly?
You're becoming a first choice. A go-to
Laurie, I've never been on before. What are you on about? I've never been on, but
you've never been on.
To you boys.
That's Javi, man.
What did he say?
No, I'm Vivan.
Oh, okay. You bear a striking resemblance to...
Now Javi's going to come on in a second and be like, Laurie, bro. You've been talking to me for 3 months.
I need to put my glasses on. But anyway, bro, we've got you on now. Right, what's your thoughts? You've heard what we've had to say. Do you agree, or is there any other points you want to make?
Yeah, no, I agree. I just wanted to make a point of, Martinelli had a great game today, but I just didn't like the fact that he never cut in and shot. Yeah. He would take on his defender and do it really well, but every time he crossed it in, no one was there. And I know Turkish has mentioned it a lot on Forever Arsenal, where he thinks it's like a tactic, which I agree. That Arteta's told him to just try and beat your defender, but then don't cut it in. I don't see him take as many shots anymore, which I don't know, kind of does my head in.
Turkish? Yeah, he didn't much. I say much. Did he cut in at all? I can't remember how many times Martinelli did cut in and attempt a shot, but I think what it is with Martinelli and Saka, we started the season and neither were being as direct as they was last season, whereas this game here, I think they best complement each other doing this. If Martinelli's going on the outside 9 times out of 10 and Saka's coming on the inside 9 times out of 10, you have completely different wingers there and what they can give you. They can give you completely different angles and perspectives on the pitch. So I think if Martinelli's going on the outside and Saka's coming on the inside, that works for me. But early in the season, it seemed like Martinelli kept on checking back too much. So we had 2 wingers that kept checking back and cutting back in and slowing things down.
Sometimes teams do double up on them, which does make it harder for them.
Of course. But we need to figure out a way around that because, I mean, Saka and Martinelli are not the first ever good wingers in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll try getting back anyway. I know that there was some trouble with the visuals, but we got a next caller?
Yeah. Oh, right.
Is this the
I thought the
Deja vu.
No, but don't you think they look alike though?
Javi, don't bring me into this, Laurie, man.
They're both good-looking guys, bro. You know what I mean? But Javi, how you doing, bro?
You know what, Laura, bro? I was gonna big you up for using the word churlish. I haven't heard that word in a couple of years, but after that insult, I was gonna big you up, but not anymore.
Yeah, I did use the word churlish. What context did I use that in? I do recall.
You were trying to go ahead and sort of argue the previous caller's point regarding, I think, Nketiah and Trossard, and you're like, I don't mean to be churlish, but is that just because of the the opposition in the game? So I was like, damn, churlish. I haven't heard that. I know the exact moment last time I heard that word. It was actually 8 years ago. Was the last time I heard that word.
Sometimes I find that I have to moderate my criticisms because some people, on behalf of the players, they take it personal. So if I say, okay, Trossard did well today, and he got the goal early, but did he do enough, in your view, to keep his place on Saturday if Eddie's fit? I think that was the point I was trying.
What's the word?
Churlish. Churlish.
What's it mean?
C-H-U-R.
It means when you're like either blunt, rude, like overly direct.
Overly critical.
So I'm trying
Yeah, Turkish. You would be the if you open up Churlish, there's a picture of you selling we want Cronkial, say we want Cronkial.
I think it's like being overly critical just for the sake of it. They say.
Oh, no, that doesn't sound like me. No.
But anyway, Javi, what was your thoughts on the game overall?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the lads should have had an easy win today. And I think overall, we saw that. The fluidity, whether it comes down to whether or not, Sevilla was getting cooked through the wingers or not, I don't know, that's open up to interpretation. But I do think that Trossard does give us something different. We saw how many times, not only he dropped in very, very deep into midfield, but how often he was actually switching with the likes of Saka and Martinelli. And listen, whatever your thoughts on Eddie may be, I think we all agree that we look at our best and our most fluid when Jesus starts. And so then if Jesus is not starting, I have to ask you, out of all the other players in that forward line, stylistically, who is the most similar to Jesus? And that answer is Trossard.
Absolutely.
So on that basis alone, I think we have to go off of that. And regarding the Fabio Vieira talks, Turkish, I think you're spot on. Out of all the other players that we have, the other player who's the most stylistically similar to Martin Odegaard, not only are they both left-footed, but in terms of the dribbling and creative playmaking ability, it's Fabio Vieira. So let me ask you then,
yeah. And I know what I think. Why do you think the manager prefers Havertz then over the likes of Vieira?
I think that he just needs to play Havertz because I think he understands that he needs to get that signing right, and he's just hoping it's going to come to fruition. But the thing is that the likes of Fabio Vieira, he still needs to get that signing right as well. That was a 35, 40 million pound signing that needs to come to fruition. He barely got any minutes last year. And when he's played this year, he's looked good. And instead of him kicking on and trying to challenge for that midfield spot, he's just keeping him high and dry because Havertz is 65 million. Like, Havertz is going to be here for the foreseeable future, whether we like it or not. So if he needs a betting end period, then fine. But I think Fabio Vieira, in moments, has shown that, he can probably be someone in that midfield. People like to point to his physicality and all that crap, but Bernardo Silva is not a physical player, and he walks into our midfield. So give the lad a chance and see what happens. And the person who is most similar to his play style, Martin Odegaard, is injured. Why is he not starting? I mean, he came in, put a beautiful ball over the top. How many times have you seen little, lob balls over the top behind the lines from any of our midfield creators? Rarely ever.
Yeah, that's true.
And Fabio Vieira, in very, very short minutes, the amount of chances he's actually created and even assists. I mean, we know he has fantastic chemistry with Martinelli, so he can be swapping with Odegaard in that midfield at all times. He feels more than comfortable playing on the right-hand side and hugging the touchline, so he can be swapping in and out with Bukayo Saka as well. And even if he does get bullied off the ball, he is someone who is constantly running, and he does want it, so it's not like he shies away from the fight either. Unlike Havertz, who's 6'3" and doesn't seem like he wants to get into the 50-50 duels. Give me a short guy who has heart versus a guy who's 6'3" and doesn't do anything. I mean, I'll take a David or Goliath.
Would you agree that Havertz on Saturday against Newcastle, physically, he did show up in that game?
I think all the lads showed up against Newcastle physically. They didn't get bullied, but I remember Turkish, I think 2 minutes into the game today, said, no, Havertz will, even though he missed that chance, he'll get a red card and then we'll all love the heart. I was dying.
It nearly happened. It nearly happened.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
No, I was just thinking, what's your thoughts on what Javi was saying?
I'm trying not to be too churlish right now. Did I use that right?
No, you don't say too churlish, because if you're churlish, then you're being churlish.
I fucked it.
So say, I try to avoid being churlish.
People are saying,
if you say too churlish,
people are saying churlish London in the chat and shit.
Churlish London on the track. Yeah, that's not a bad rap name, let me tell you.
See what I've done there?
Hey, that might be the next show on my channel or something. But listen, what point are you asking me about? What have you said?
About the Vieira versus Havertz thing. Where are you going on that?
I mean, I'm intrigued to find out more about Vieira. I'm tired of finding out nothing about Havertz. That's where I stand. I mean,
it's interesting, lads, because when we were in NYC after the Man United game, we were all just like hanging out with Flex and KG. We were talking about Havertz, and Lee and I were having a pretty good discussion about it. And I had mentioned that one of the problems about Havertz is that there's not one defining quality that really shines. And so if he has to be really on it in order for him to be a good player, but if he's slightly off it, then nothing can really be his saving grace, because he's a decent dribbler, but he's not an amazing dribbler. He's a decent passer, but he's not an amazing passer. He's tall, but he's not very physical. He's an okay finisher, but he's not a great finisher. So unless he's on it, nothing really shines through. Yeah. But even if you look at someone like Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, whoever it may be, they have at least one or two very, very defining qualities that they can always rely on, even if they're having a poor game. Like Martinelli can be terrible today, but he can rely on his pace to get him behind or his dribbling ability. Martin Odegaard, maybe his passing is off, but his dribbling in tight spaces will create space for other players. Fabio Vieira, we know he's got a decent delivery and a decent left foot, so he can always either, shoot from outside the box or create, a pass if he has that moment. Havertz doesn't seem to have one really big defining characteristic that he can rely on in a game that can shine through. So he needs to be almost at 100% for his somewhat okay, box-to-box qualities actually come and you can see them. And that's, I think, his main problem. That unless he's at 100%, it's going to be very difficult for him to impact the game, unlike other players who have one defining quality that they can rely on that always shines through because they have talent with that particular quality.
That's a good point. And that is why at the start of the game when he missed that goal, that was such a poignant moment because we all said, if he gets that goal, then that would be so good for him because it was early in the game. Then he can have a chance to express himself. Then there's a little less pressure on him. But unfortunately, the ball went wide. But listen, Javi, thanks for your call, bro. Really
yeah, likewise, man. And listen, take a picture so you can remember me next time.
We'll do, man.
I have you love, my bro.
Yeah, respect.
Take care, man.
Speak soon, hopefully. Take care. Yeah, we got any other callers? Oh yeah, he's back again.
Back.
Javi, not Javi.
I'm the B-Tech Javi.
What's your name? What's your name?
Javi.
Vivan.
What are you saying, Javi?
I thought you said. They told me you're Javi.
I don't know why. I think you just saw the face and you were like, oh yeah, that's Javi.
Said they told me Javi. No,
that's what they said.
Production's fucking about with us. It's good. Yeah, they
right,
did say
right.
They
winded me up. Yeah. I fell for that one. Right. Okay. What are you saying, man? What was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I was just making the point about Martinelli. I'm a big fan of the Forever Arsenal podcast, and I think that point that Turkish made really stuck with me. Like, he would go in and shoot like a lot last season, and you just don't see it enough this time. I think even the start of the season with Nottingham Forest, you can still see that flair that he wanted to do. But I remember Turkish on the live was saying like he's not like cutting in and shooting as much. But you could, I think everyone can see that he wants to. He's just being told not to.
Yeah.
And it's obviously it's not an issue today. I mean, we got an easy win, but I know it could. I think it could become an issue if tactics don't go our way. And like say games like Newcastle, where he just felt like a dud. Like he didn't feel like on it.
I think
so
it's
if he's not providing for others,
one. Yeah, because I think.
Useless, yeah.
Let's be honest, as a winger, you are there to provide service to the strikers. So once you've got past your man, the manager will be expecting you to look up and try and find the runner 9 times out of 10.
I agree, yeah.
On other occasions, if it's there, if it's on, you could cut in and have a shot, do something different. But
he tends to be the runner in the front three as well. That's the problem with him.
Yeah.
He tends to be, if you look at the front three and you're looking at who's most likely to run in behind this game, it's always going to be Martinelli Martinelli, Jesus.
He's got that explosive pace and he uses that.
Yeah.
He's also, I was just going to say, he's developing 1 or 2 tricks as well to get past it's not just the pace. Like tonight,
sure.
He had a few little tricks up his sleeve. That was, There's a little step over and go and, that's good. Turkish, you want to add anything to that?
Martinelli's my guy, man. I just need him to keep this up now. It feels like the shackles have been removed a little bit. Burnley, Luton, amongst teams will play the next 4. Like, let's have some more of it.
Yeah. I think I was saying earlier as well that teams in the Premier League will double up on him. And you probably see that on Saturday against Burnley. They will know that he's a threat. And they will.
Yeah, it was usually Saka that was getting doubled up on. But now I think teams will start to think like we got to get on that side too.
Yeah. But even that can work to his credit because then what he can do is just by taking that extra man away, it will give us more space through the middle. So
it's fine. I don't need them. I don't need them to both bang at the same time, but they'll both have their patches. I mean, last season when you look at the majority of the season, they kind of had individual patches more so than both are firing at the same time. A couple of months it'll be Saka who's getting all the headlines. A couple of months there'll be Martinelli getting all the headlines. It'll go back to Saka. They had patches between them, and I think that's what it's about. When you've got 2 frightening wingers in different ways, If one gets doubled up, then that means there's less work for the other winger. If he gets doubled up, less work for. So I think they need to just first 10 minutes of a game, see who the focus is on. When they realize who the focus is on, go the other side, because they're both. As much we're in England, so Saka's going to get the headline attention, Starboy stuff. We got 2 Starboys on the wings, Saka and Martinelli. One's just Brazilian,
say Saka took his goal well tonight.
Beautiful, and a beautiful pass from Martinelli. The pass was spot on. It stopped right in front where he needed to. Saka one touch, cuts in, finish.
Yeah, okay. What about Trossard through the middle? Was you impressed with him?
I was just about to say, I feel like now with the upcoming fixtures with a lot of like lower table teams, I feel like we really got to rotate between Eddie and Trossard. I've always been an advocate for Trossard is better in the 9, like compared to Eddie. I'm sorry, Laurie. But
no, I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Did you hear his heart break through the screen? Yeah, because I heard it.
No, I know he's the biggest advocate, so I don't want to let him down, because I know everyone goes against him in all these lives.
He goes against everyone. It's not everyone goes against him.
Yeah.
He goes against everyone.
Yeah. No, I just think that listen, Trossard come in tonight and he did his job. He got the goal. You play a man through the front, he gets the goal, then he's pretty much done his job, really. But I just think that sometimes, anyway, I think it's a bit difficult to gauge tonight, because I've got to be honest, the opposition was poor. So I don't think
Arteta came in thinking Sevilla's going to be a tough team to beat. It didn't turn out like that. No. But I think Trossard's the man for that. So same with the Newcastle game. I think Trossard would have been better. But teams like Bournemouth and all the lower table teams, I think Eddie can have a go at it. And I think that's for now, because later on I do want a better striker. But we got to work with what we got right now. So the upcoming fixtures, I don't mind Eddie stepping in, even though Trossard for me did really well tonight. Like, it's just those teams that are like more attacking, that we could break on the counter or something. I would prefer Trossard if Jesus is not in.
But you know what? If Trossard continues to do what he does today, then really it's going a long way to solving the problem. So, on that note, bro, we've got to end it there, because we've got a few other people on the line. But listen, thank you very much.
Appreciate you guys letting me on.
Wrong. Sorry for getting you wrong.
That's cool, bro.
Call back soon. Back soon.
No worries, bro. Take care.
Okay.
Nice one.
Michael, I think this could get a little poetic.
You think?
Yeah, you got it right, Laurie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good, loud and clear.
Oh, good. I'm feeling too good tonight to bore you with my tactical analysis. I want to inject some fluidity into my attack. So, fuck Shakespeare. I've got an original poem for you titled "Wash Your Hair, Ben White." The thing about Ben White is that he has always looked the part. I mean, he's always looked like a 19th century English hard man, like with that suntan over the slightly jaundiced skin and the nautical tattoos. He looks like he was press ganged into the Royal Navy, manning the guns at Trafalgar. Which is why I was so disoriented 3 weeks ago when suddenly Benny lets the Blanco go to his head, literally, and he's sporting this ridiculous vanilla frosting. And I'm thinking, I'm not looking at Starbuck from Moby Dick, I'm looking at Ken from the Barbie movie. And I'm thinking, this is like a cry for help. It must indicate some inner identity crisis. And don't get me wrong, I would never begrudge a player the right to self-expression. It's just that white hair you usually associate with some fancy flair forward player, like Aguero, like Balotelli, like Neymar. It's like, look at me, I have flair and panache. I'm a virtuoso fancy boy. And that is not what I want to see in my right back. I want David Rocastle, not David Bowie. And all of Ben's grit and steel seemed to melt away, like the own goal against West Ham. I thought, oh my God, it's bad enough he's wearing that ridiculous radioactive zebra pajamas, but now the ball in the back of our net has a blotch of white hair dye on it. And it doesn't help that he's now switched from white dye to black dye, because now he looks like an emo goth singer. He looks like Morrissey. And I don't want my right back to identify as a singer in an 80s boy band. I want him to look like he's on the deck of the Victory, hunched over a 32-pounder with a lighted fuse in his hand. England expects every man will do his duty. I want him to look like a gunner. which is what he really is. And if we're going to talk about team identity, we've got to talk about the ancestral DNA inside each one of our players. Come on, Ben. Come on, you Gunners. Thanks, guys.
That was very good. I've got to admit, man. Thank you very much, bro. We got some other callers on, but listen.
I don't even know what to say, Mike.
Yeah, it's difficult to follow that, man. I've got to say. The next caller's going to have a hard job. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, bro. Speak soon.
Good. See you later.
Take care. Nice. Yeah.
Another poet.
How do you follow that?
I know, man. That is extremely difficult.
When you said... sorry, something came in my head. Remember Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Jeffrey went to that poetry thing?
Oh, Cannons!
Cannons! Hey, what was his name? What was his name?
And the Thunders!
What was his name? Some French kind of name. What was his name?
Raphael De La Ghetto.
De La Ghetto. Oh my god. Classic.
You two are spot on the trivia, man.
You're my guy, man.
Yeah,
Come on.
You're on the
I do my thing, man. I do what I've got to do.
Okay.
What we saying?
Yeah, good, man. Right, you may have heard what we said. Well, I said straight up, I thought it was a good win, but I also counterbalanced that by saying I thought Sevilla, I've got to be honest, they were dreadful, man. You know what I mean? I really did think that they were poor. I mean, Turkish made the point that they rotate in the side, maybe they're struggling in the Liga, and yes, they did have some injuries, as we have, as most teams have, but even so, I was very disappointed in them. But listen, it's a 2-0 win, and we go again. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, in terms of Sevilla, like they did have a couple of injuries coming into tonight, and I feel like Ramos had an injury as well. He had a calf injury, so that's why he wasn't here tonight. But if I was a Sevilla fan, if I saw that, knowing that we needed a win, I'd be very, very disappointed because they offered absolutely nothing. They didn't try. We wasn't under pressure at any point during that game. It was complete control. Yeah. It was practically complete control, and their only shot in the game came in the 95th minute.
Was it the 90th? I was giving them credit. I thought it was the 85th minute. It was late though, nevertheless.
It was literally almost the last kick of the game. I was like, wow, that's when you lot are trying to do something now. It didn't make no sense. It didn't absolutely make no sense. And most of the players that you would expect them to start the game were on the bench. Rakitic was on the bench. Murray came on, injured himself, and come off again 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was just.
So when I saw that, it was kind of difficult for me to gauge just how good Arsenal were. I mean, don't get me wrong, we were far the better team. That goes without saying. But it was kind of difficult for me to really gauge, coming off the back of 2 defeats, if we've improved that much, because the opposition was such that we just rolled over them. They were totally passive.
I hear that, and I agree with that. But you know what they say, at the end of the day, you got to beat what's in front of you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And we made it look pretty easy. Martinelli, brilliant tonight. Absolutely brilliant. Yes, the final ball is probably that last thing that he needs to complete. And we've been saying that for a couple of years now, probably, actually. I mean, last season he did very, very well in terms of finishing, but it's just final ball when he's creating. Just get that zip. Saka, great again. He took his goal very, very well, and he got his assist from Trossard. Interchanging at the front was good. Could have offered more. Obviously, he got his goal as well, but could have offered more. But at the same time, what having said previously, he's the closest player to Jesus in terms of playing style, and it's just great to see. And as much as I do love Eddie as a player, and you know what, Turkish, you literally said it. You was talking to someone a couple minutes ago. You said it. You was talking about playing to Eddie and trying to help him out, but then Eddie's got to develop his game at the same time. So, and this is what I was saying to Belgium on the other day, and I say, bro, like he always says, oh, Eddie's this type of player. He can't do this, that, and the other. So why is it too much of me to ask for this brother that asks for the full T-shirt that's on 100 bags a week to develop your game a little piece? It's not too hard. I'm not asking for too much, am I?
It's fair.
No, you are.
Belgium's his dad. He must be his dad or something. I mean, he must be his dad.
But you know what it is, right? It's the Ghanaian connection with Belgium.
But
if you say Ghanaian connection on the space, Dini, he flips.
Oh, really?
He acts like it's got nothing to do with that.
No. It's so true. It's so true. No, but we love Belgium. We do love Belgium.
We do.
Come on, OG.
What would I say? Rice, solid as ever. Well done from Rice. Saliba, centre-back pairings were great. One thing I will say on Havertz, I would say his performance was fine margins today. It wasn't bad, but it could have been way better.
Exactly,
Because
yeah.
if he just gives himself that bit of conviction in that first minute where he has that chance and tries to get it on, he could have probably scored, or at least get on the top. He just show it. And I feel like as the game was going on, he has that chance that goes just past the post and this, that, and the other. But he was showing himself a bit more. But at the same time, there were times where even Martinelli, I think he put the ball in twice, and Havertz could have even went and headed for the ball. He doesn't. That's a player.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, even with the
It's in
header,
his body
right?
language.
It's not just the fact that he didn't score. It's the fact that it lacked conviction, like you said. He didn't get it on target, and it was like we're all looking at him. We think, oh, come on, bro. You know what I mean? You should be doing better than that. I mean, that being said, he did have a very good effort in the second half that went very close. And he had a shot that looked like it was on target, but it got blocked. At the time, we were like, yo, you shanked it. And then we saw it again. And then we saw actually it hit a deflection. So we're still waiting for him to catch fire, I think it's fair to say. And my criticism of him is that he flits in and out of games too much. I want to see him demanding the ball. I want to see him take control, or if not take control, impose yourself on the game. The same way Martinelli and Saka did today, demanding the ball. When they get the ball, doing positive things with it, going forward rather than going sideways or back.
You know, on Big Six, I don't think Toles made this up, but that's the first place I heard Shy Havertz when he was at Chelsea. And I just thought it's a play on Kai. Kai. Bro, he's shy on the pitch. He's shy. He doesn't want it.
Yeah, he's not a confidence guy.
He doesn't want it. I mean, the space is there, and today you're the 10. Drop into the space, get the ball,
demand the ball.
Do something. Instead, he just getting further and further away from the space. Many times.
I know it's a bit of a stretch, right? But a couple of weeks ago, one of my brothers, Steve, he very kindly took me to the England game, and I was watching Bellingham. First time I seen him up close and personal. That guy, man, seriously, demanding the ball, like haranguing the players, give it. And then when he got it, he's not looking to pass sideways off. He's looking up. Looking to see if there's a run, and he'll carry it. You know what I mean? What can I do? How can I get, you know what I mean? And that's what I want to see from Havertz. Because after all, he is a £65 million player, so we're expecting to see something, man. So far, we've not really seen it.
I agree. And you know what? I mean, like, yes, we do want to see more. But one thing, a lot of our players have had their own battles have had their own battles trying to be adjusted to this new way of playing that we're playing now. To be fair, like Odegaard hasn't been great. Most of our players just haven't hit the heights of last season because we are playing a new way. And then Havertz, as a new player coming in to try and adapt to that system now, it's going to take him time. It is going to take him time. It's annoying to say because you'd think being here in the Premier League, he would have just gone on by now. And you'd think being at Arsenal, being at the back of Arsenal, where we're going right now, it's different to Chelsea. And
Well, he's had 12 Premier League games, or is it 11, something like that, and then he's had the Champions League games and a couple of cup games as well. So
he's playing a lot of football, a lot.
Yeah, I think that's because the manager's trying to get as much out of him as he can to show people like us lot that he is worth that fee.
So better pray on that one. You better pray hard.
There's a fine line between trying to, play him until he shows something for us, or play him until it shows something about you.
Just very quickly, Dini, because we got to head out soon. But in terms of the team for Saturday, against Burnley, would you make any changes or what?
Well, he wants to ask you, Dini. Let me get the question out for Laurie. If Eddie's back.
No, he's already said that he would play Trossard because he's closer to Jesus.
I'm playing with you.
No, is there anyone else? For example, the goalkeeping team, how's that running?
Say that again, sorry.
The goalkeeping situation, we've not really talked about that much today on the show. Maybe because we had such an easy win.
I think I've said this previously. I'm flip a coin. I couldn't really care less. I do feel sorry for Ramsdale because he did a lot for us last season, and you know what? Football's ruthless.
Yeah.
Football's a humbler, and we just got to move with it. We've got to move with it. We have to move with it.
Tommy
when he gets
Zinchenko?
his chance, but when he does get his chance, he has to take it. He has to.
Yep, agreed. Tomiyasu and Zinchenko was.
Tomiyasu starts. I'm hoping it wasn't an injury today and it was just tactical.
Yeah.
We was controlling the game, so we didn't really need him. Do you know what I mean? We didn't really need to defend today, so I'm hoping that it's just tactical. Tomiyasu starts. Kai Havertz will probably start again in midfield. Actually, no. Why can't Vieira start on Saturday?
Yeah, I know Turkish for one is he's very strong in support of Vieira getting the starting berth against Burnley.
I'd start Vieira on Saturday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be averse to that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be averse to that at all.
He's an Arteta player too.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
but
like,
yeah, it is.
so,
Facts.
you know, give him a go.
Give him a go. Why not? At the end of the day, it's not just about proving whether Havertz can do it. It's about getting the best from the team. So,
and it's a favourable, and it's definitely a favourable run of games coming up as well. So it's like, let's do it. Give these players that I haven't had with someone and Nelson as well. Give him some time in these next few games against the Burnleys, against the Lutons. You know what I mean? Just let's do something.
Yeah,
okay, bro. Listen, thank you very much. Very good call as always,
Love
and
my bro.
hopefully speak at the weekend. Take care.
Of course, man. Don't take care. Yeah.
Have a good night.
Love every time.
Who we got last?
Last but not least, here he is.
Robbie, is that you?
No, it's Laurie, man.
Robbie, are you sure? Is that you?
No,
It's sure, Robbie.
it's the better looking version.
Sorry. Laurie, sorry about that, mate. I apologize. My apologies, mate.
We
My
got
apologies.
T Dot in the house.
Yeah, indeed, indeed you do. Indeed.
T Dot in the
Do
house.
apologize. In Turkish, how are you doing?
I'm all good. It sounds like you're
we are getting some
speaking from
interference,
a fish tank or something.
Oh, especially this tank?
Oh, that's better.
Can you hear me?
That's better now. That's better now.
Are we better now? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, fire away because we've not got long left. Sorry, I got that out.
Yeah, not that long left. Okay, fair enough. Again, tonight, a good comeback performance. Some better than others, but I'll take the win. I'll take the win all day long. It's what this team needed after that, debacle of a week last week, and the shambles that was on the weekend. And we keep on moving. We're top of the group and where we want to be, and we're pretty much assured that we will win it. And we're happy with our placement right now. So again, I have no complaints.
Anyone stood out for you tonight?
Tonight, definitely, yeah. Martinelli he had one loop on bloody strings tonight. That guy he was just in rare form. The likes of Saka. Saka was amazing tonight as well. But let's all. I just want to bring a highlight to Saliba.
Are the FBI after you or something?
I don't know, mate. I really don't know.
It might be the Wire season 7. I've been waiting a long time for season 7. Are you the next Marlowe or something? What's going on?
I don't know, mate. I really don't know. I hope you guys can hear me. I hope everybody can hear me. But
we can hear you. But there's just a crazy. I don't even know how to describe the sound. It just sounds like the FBI are in. They're recording us, and we've got a case coming up real soon.
It sounds like I'm out of the water. Okay, well I'm gonna have to fix things around here for the next time.
You're right now. Oh, it's gone again.
Nah, you're not. You're gone.
Am I gone again? Unbelievable.
That's a shame because I do always enjoy his calls.
I know. The audio was mad. I think the chat could hear it. Yeah, the chat could hear it as well.
Yeah. Okay then, Turkish. So to wrap up then, you've heard what our callers have had to say. Some very good calls in there. And I've got to say, they seem to be with you on the centre forward position for Saturday, which, listen, I'm fine with. We don't even know if Eddie's going to be available.
Not fine
anyway.
with it.
No, listen, bro. Look, at the end of the day, the man came in, he got his goal, we won 2-0. It's very difficult to change a winning team, especially after, let's face it, Eddie didn't really perform at the weekend. He was one of a number who didn't really. So Trossard has staked his claim, and obviously it's up to the manager. I would say, though, that had Eddie been out there tonight, I would have fancied him to score as well, because I actually think that Sevilla were there for the taking. In fact, if I have a criticism of tonight, is that we should have got 4, maybe even 5. Because I thought Sevilla were poor.
They was there for the taking.
They were definitely there for the taking. I think I used the analogy that it was like watching a boxing match where you've got your young prospect who's talented, and they bring in a journeyman, but the prospect guy's not getting rid of it. You're thinking, come on, man, this guy, you should have him out of there by now.
Yeah.
And then in the 6th, 7th, 8th round, the prospect turns it up and gets him out of there, but really should have done that 3-4 rounds earlier. That's how I felt with that game.
You know what that sounds like to me?
What's that?
Prospecting Ganu journeyman AJ.
I knew somehow you would do that.
But
you know what I'm saying,
for
right?
DR Sports. Don't worry, we'll leave it.
No,
there.
but you know what I'm saying, right?
No, 100%.
It's something like we should have put that. We should have smoked them.
We should have
completely.
5-starred it, but
but we didn't. But hey,
it's
maybe we're being overly critical. We don't want to do that. But I'm just being honest on what I saw based on tonight.
Yeah.
We had an opponent that was passive. They didn't come to fight. We should have got rid of them early. But we were comfortable. And
light work.
Exactly. And in a way, that's all right, because come Saturday, I think Burnley are going to give us a better game than what Sevilla gave us tonight. But I still do think that we'll beat them. So I think it bodes well, really.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think Burnley will, give us a better game than that. The way they've been playing this season, they're stuck to their ways.
Yeah.
And
I think they'll show more effort, though. One thing about Sevilla tonight, they lack passion, they lack energy.
It looked like they.
You said it.
Looks
You
like
said
they're
at the
not
top of the show that they didn't really come to win. They came hoping that they might be able to get a draw out of this or something, frustrate us or whatever. They didn't really show up today.
It doesn't look like they're fighting for the manager at the moment.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
It feels like there's a bit of disconnect at the club, because Sevilla are a lot better than that.
Yeah, like I said earlier that they've got pedigree in Europe. And when this group was first drawn out the hat, a lot of people were saying, listen, man, it's between us and them. You know what I mean?
Then again, it's a new manager. Maybe it's teething. I don't know.
Some people said PSV might be in there, but they were definitely in the shake-up before. Not so much now. But anyway, that's their problem. Looking forward to Saturday. What do you do? Keep the same team?
Vieira in, I'd say. Give him a.
You put Vieira in there. Is there any other place you might see a change? What about the goalkeepers? Although I say that, but I think we pretty much know that it's going to be.
It's home against the Burnley team that I don't believe will set up a low block. Yeah,
that's true.
So I wouldn't mind having a Rice with a Vieira, and the thing is, we're void of options. It would have to be Vieira and Havertz, or Jorginho, Rice, Vieira.
I thought Jorginho was good today, by the way.
He was, but it's true. Say it's international break next, so I guess we could put Jorginho in again. I just want to see Vieira given a chance, whether that's with Rice and Jorginho or Rice and Havertz. I don't really mind. I think we should beat Burnley regardless.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think.
And aside from that, that's
I don't want to sound overly confident, but let's be honest, man. Burnley, what are they? Second bottom. I think they've got one win all season. That was away to Luton.
Yeah, because Sheffield United are bottom, innit?
Yeah. Although Sheffield United had a good win at the weekend, but Burnley are not far off it. They've struggled, and they've got a manager that seems to want to try and play football, when really some people say you might be best to try and lock down the hatches a bit more. So if they come to the Emirates and try and take us on by playing, I think they could get smoked.
100%.
So it'll be interesting to see what they...
4 points out of a possible 33.
Yeah, I think they've only got one win.
Yeah, one win, one draw.
Yeah, so they're not in the best of places. I fully expect us to win that game. But I'm going to say it this year, I think Burnley will make more of a fight of it than Sevilla today. I can't emphasise enough how disappointed I was with them. Not that I want them to turn up and really, you know what I mean?
You just thought we'd have a game.
I just thought, looking at that game, I was thinking, Champions League, Sevilla, pedigree in Europe. You know what I mean? I thought they would give us problems, but far from it.
Yeah,
but
we move.
But yeah, we move, man. Anything you want to say in closing?
Love for the love.
Love for the love, indeed, man. Listen, thanks to everybody for supporting the show. You've seen it there. In future, just download the app and you get access to FANZONE and to full-time show.
Simple.
Thank you very much, bro. And listen, we'll be live again on Saturday against Burnley. And also, we'll be putting out a lot of content between now and then, so make sure you check out AFTV. Thanks to my man, Turkish Air. Thank you for everybody for supporting the show and watching. Take care. We're out.